All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Floyd Mayweather Jr. making a public statement about Gervonta "Tank" Davis and their future, as well as the Rolly Romero fight. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We are going to talk about the lightweight division, a fight coming up between Gervonta "Tank" Davis, Rolly Romero, and also Floyd Mayweather Jr. commenting on the big brouhaha that took place this week with Gervonta "Tank" Davis saying that his contract was up. But before we talk about that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber or a recent subscriber, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you can be notified of when we release more videos. And make sure you hit all notifications so you can get all of them. Also, if you do wager on sports, make sure you support our betting partner, BUSR, at busr.ag/Fanon. Use the promotional code Fanon, and you will definitely there will be promotions that you can take advantage of that will increase the value of your dollar. All right, let's get it going. All right, man, for people who are big fans of Floyd Mayweather Jr., Mayweather Promotions, I don't know if this is really good news for Floyd Mayweather Promotions, but as we know, last week, Gervonta Davis hit out on Twitter about a couple different subjects. One, he was upset about his ticket sales, his tickets not being put on sale, up until a month before the fight. He said, who do these guys think I am, Michael Jackson or something? And then a bunch of conversations go on in his Twitter, in his Twitter timeline. And unlike usually when Gervonta Davis is real circumspect and kind of, may leave like a one-word tweet or something, and then people have to guess what he's talking about, and then he doesn't respond. In this particular instance, he actually responded and said, look, the reason that they're so desperate to have me fight this guy, Rolly Romero, is because my contract is up. This is the last fight on my contract, right? So people obviously are speculating that Gervonta Davis will be leaving Floyd Mayweather Jr., or that at the very least, Gervonta Davis is throwing that out there, to get under the skin of Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I would say the PBC, but it may not be the PBC. It may just be Floyd Mayweather, because that's the promotional company that he's with. So Floyd comes back and talks for the first time publicly. I had gotten information about what his stance was, at least through the ears, through the what has been related out of certain camps. However, he came out and spoke on the subject on Fight Hype in a very good interview. As always, Fight Hype does a really, really good job, especially getting information from Floyd Mayweather Jr. I think that it is his first stop, for interviews. So he gives the interview and says, look, as far as what Gervonta Davis has to do and what he's going to do, as far as his contract being up, he said, look, nothing lasts forever, right? And and Gervonta Davis has to do what Gervonta Davis thinks he should do, right? And whatever's in his best interest, that's what he's going to have to do. And then Floyd said, hey, I think that I have done a really good job for him so far in his career. I've taken him very far in his career. And then he started talking about the fight that's coming up. And he actually addresses it seems like he addressed one of the issues that Gervonta Davis had, because he said, look, now the tickets are on sale, and the tickets are on sale 2.5 months before the fight takes place. So, go buy the tickets. So in one breath, while he says that Gervonta Davis, that nothing lasts forever, he's got to do and make the best decision for himself, he also addresses the main issue that Gervonta Davis had in the tweets, which is that his tickets had not gone on sale yet. So, to me, I take what Floyd Mayweather Jr. says as if Floyd is trying to patch that up, but he's not going to flat out and say, okay, yeah, we're going to do anything to keep Gervonta and talk about it in that fashion. But he did address what the main issue with Gervonta Davis was, at least in that tweet. Now, as far as what Gervonta Davis's issue is, or his camp's issue are in whole, I do think that it's going to be a certain amount about the level of the fights that he's getting, and at least I hope that that's what the issue is. I've heard, definitely had heard from Calvin Ford, the trainer of Gervonta Davis, that he had wanted the Lomachenko fight, and and actually in another podcast, the Rise podcast, shout out to the Rise podcast. He talked about how he wanted, he wanted to have George Kambosos come to Baltimore to fight Tank in Baltimore, right? So there's definitely, some dissatisfaction going on in the camp. As far as what I think is going to happen, I think Floyd Mayweather Jr., Gervonta Davis more than likely is going to re-sign with Floyd Mayweather Jr. This is not the first time that he has come out and said that he was a little bit disgruntled with Floyd and with Mayweather Promotions. But also, man, people tend to go with the devil that they know, and not the devil that presents themselves. And I'm not quite sure where Gervonta Tank Davis would go besides Mayweather Promotions. Now, I'm sure he could still, just because if he doesn't re-sign with Floyd Mayweather Promotions, Mayweather Promotions, not Floyd Mayweather Promotions, forgive me, Mayweather Promotions, that doesn't mean that he's going to leave Al Heyman as an advisor. If he was to leave Al Heyman as an advisor and Floyd Mayweather as a promoter, I think that would probably be a very bad career move, because the only other options really for him are guys that really don't have a lot to offer. I doubt very much he's going to go to Eddie Hearn and DAZN. Maybe, and one thing about them is, they don't really promote. They haven't done a particularly good job of promoting or getting big fights for Devin Haney or Demetrius Andrade. So I'm not sure, whether or not they're going to be able to change their, improve their track record with Gervonta, right? And same thing, we'll go with like ESPN and Bob Arum. Bob Arum, like he said about responding to Terrence Crawford, he's like, look, man, you can call me cheap, don't call me racist, right? Well, I understand that cheap part is for sure. So we're relatively cheap. These guys are making a lot of money, right? You know what I mean? But however, he's not breaking the bank for anybody. So I doubt very much that he's going to be really excited about. He's not going to be overpaying or really putting Gervonta Tank Davis in a position, to make a lot of money. Now, he may be able to get some really good fights with him because there's so many guys, that he has so many people in the lightweight division. But seriously, that would just be going backwards and going against common sense, because most people, like they say, and I hear this said a lot in my chat, like people start their career with Top Rank and they end their career with the PBC or something like that, right? Once they get established, that's where they go. So we'll see what happens with Gervonta. I have a suspicion that he's going to stay with Mayweather Promotions, and he's going to stay with Al Heyman, and he'll stay with the PBC, just because there's just not that many choices out there for him. From my perspective, right? But we'll see what happens. Anyway, you let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you again for your support. Hit that like button on your way out, and with that, I'm out. Peace.